Thank you, Mr. Chair. In the past, the Environment Subcommittee has done great bipartisan work to support remediation and redevelopment of our nation's brownfields. EPA's Brownfields program has been tremendously successful in reducing pollution, creating jobs, and getting vacant properties back on local government's tax rolls. So I was very interested to see the Nuclear for Brownfield Site Preparation Act. Former coal plants and other brownfield sites often have great characteristics that can be assets in their redevelopment. They may be, excuse me, near existing transmission infrastructure, have access to water and rail infrastructure, and have pre-existing security infrastructure. So the notion of reusing these sites for advanced nuclear or other clean energy projects could provide a great opportunity for local communities to bring back high-quality jobs to their given region. So, Ms. Toth, how can new nuclear projects create jobs and support economic revitalization in former energy communities?
Thank you, Congressman, for the question. And we're very supportive of the Nuclear for Brownfield Site Preparation Act. Good Energy Collective takes a particular interest in ensuring that we advance enabling policies so that nuclear energy can support communities facing the retirements of their coal generators in the next 10 years as part of a just energy transition. Like you mentioned, there are a lot of opportunities to reuse existing infrastructure on site, transmission, road and rail access, water, the heat sink, but more importantly, and what Good Energy Collective has started to analyze are what are the community level benefits of these transitions, and there are many. To be able to support these communities with good paying jobs that they're losing when these coal plants close, with the tax revenues for the local community. So we see this legislation up on the docket today as important in enabling policy on the regulatory side when Congress last year passed the Vision for the Future Act, enabling DOE to support technical assistance for RD&D for coal, the revitalization of coal plant infrastructure with nuclear energy.
Thank you. And Ms. Korsnick, what are your thoughts? What are the opportunities to reuse these former power plant sites for new nuclear projects?
I think there's a wonderful opportunity. A study was done about the coal plant workers and how they could be transitioned to work at a nuclear plant. And I think the study suggested that 75% of the jobs at coal plants could be repurposed to nuclear plants. Personally, I think it's probably even larger than that, but that just gives you an early idea of just how much synergy there is. From being a site vice president and running a previous nuclear plant, I would tell you that we would bring the coal plant and fossil fuel folks down to work our refueling outages. There is a natural synergy. We might boil water differently in nuclear, but after that, you need mechanics and electricians and INC techs and the same skill set that you're working and using at that coal facility. So I'm incredibly optimistic of the synergy. And I think it's beautiful, as she mentioned, some of these plants or the towns are going to be devastated by the closing of a fossil fuel plant, and there's no need for it. We can absolutely repurpose all of those jobs and keep that community alive and thriving.
Thank you. I'm supportive of trying to redevelop formerly used fossil fuel sites for productive, cleaner uses, and that seems to be the intent of this draft. Mr. Chair, I would like to raise an issue that I hope the committee staff can further investigate before this proposal moves to a markup. The draft uses the CERCLA definition of brownfield site, which explicitly excludes numerous types of facilities, including facilities that had permits under RCRA, the Clean Water Act, and the Safe Drinking Water Act. So I'm worried that many former coal plants may not meet this definition of a brownfield site, and the Commission may not include them in their evaluation. CERCLA included these statutory exclusions for good reason, so that polluters could not gain access to limited brownfield funds in order to carry out remediations otherwise required by their permits. That's still a good reason to maintain the exclusion within the EPA Brownfields program. I'm not sure if it should be the litmus test for a brownfield site under this proposal. So I hope the majority and minority staffs can receive technical assistance from the Commission and EPA to ensure that this language does not accidentally exclude some of the intended beneficiaries by taking too narrow of a definition of brownfield site. And with that, I thank you, Mr. Chair, and yield back.